What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I had to do this video today because, as you know, I'm such a big Sui maxi, Sui ecosystem advocate. I love everything about Sui, the speed, the protocols. And today, huge disappointment, okay? You can see here the announcement as of earlier today. We've confirmed that an attacker has stolen approximately $223 million from CETUS protocol. We have taken immediate action and we've locked the contract, preventing further theft. 162 million of the compromised funds have been successfully paused, and we are working with the Sui Foundation and other ecosystem members right now on the next step solutions with a goal of recovering the remaining stolen funds. The majority of impacted funds are paused, and we are currently actively pursuing paths to recover the remainder. We have no higher priority, and will provide further updates as they become available through the X channel. A full incident report will be disclosed later. We are sincerely grateful for your patience. Okay, so this happened about 4 hours ago. I was taking a nap at the time, got a call from a friend, and he alerted me to this incident. And of course, since then, I've reacted with the VIP community and I've alerted everyone. And of course, everybody knows the story anyway, because we have a healthy or a lot of Sui bags. Now, this was a wild situation. Okay. Now, the CPO of Sui came out and said that 160 million of the 222 million have now been successfully being frozen. And I'm gonna tell you why I'm bullish on Sui. Now, the Sui hacker is not done. His wallet balance just keeps increasing. This was several hours ago. Of course, currently holding 400 million in Sui coins and another 60 million in Ethereum. Where does this end? So, people are pissed because this is, of course, an attack. Sui is no stranger to this. Other big protocols have been attacked. And I must stress again, this is limited onto the DeFi side. So Sui itself has not been hacked. Okay. Now, there's lots of debates going on. Of course, somebody tweeted here, Tau is having critical backend issues. Sui is dealing with a hack. Sol is switching to Voter Rota, and ETH is forcing Pectra upgrade. It's never been a better time to buy CAS. Of course, people have lots of different opinions of what's going on right now. They are working very hard. I must admit, the depegging of USDC was quite was just absolutely incredible to obviously witness. Now, a hacker exploited a bug. Of course, it's unfortunate. Of course, these idiots are everywhere, and of course, no one's safe. You're not safe. I'm not safe. And if you look at the impact really on the Sui price, Sui has held up incredibly well, because we know when these things happen, the layer one also gets impacted, but there's no impact on Sui. However, liquidity from various protocols have been drained. For example, Walrus took a massive dump. Others impacted, of course. CETUS, look at that. And of course, the CETUS chart was absolutely incredible. It came all the way down here, has recovered a little bit since then, of course. But is this buy the dip opportunity, or is this a situation that we need to see unfolding? Right now, this smart contract, I think, is suspended anyway. And you can see here the impact that it had on CETUS protocol, right? 19% overall. And of course, this came all the way down from 25 to currently to 14 cents and to currently where it is. So you may ask, what do we do from here? And of course, you can see some of these protocols that were completely impacted. Now, not everything's been impacted, so I can tell you right now, USDC depegging, that was huge. Of course, a lot of the stable coins took a hit. Walrus, CETUS, you've got Lorenzo's stake BTC over here. You've basically got a lot of the, Sui name services. So these were, on the DeFi pool, they attacked the liquidity pools, okay? Scallop took a hit as well, but not huge. But you can see here, a lot of the DeFi projects Alpha Phi has absolutely fallen off as well. You've got FUD the Pug. You've literally got a lot of Turbo's Finance over here. Now, for me, Sui AI, so this is literally, you can actually see how some things have held up, but a lot of the liquidity pools on the CETUS protocol were hit absolutely heavy. Okay, now nothing changes for me as far as Sui is concerned. Longevity, of course, they need to learn from this. Every single protocol learns from such a big thing. And if you think this is really isolated, top 50 hackings, I mean, 5.5 billion in total losses since 2020. But look at the increase over here, right? Total losses from the top 50. So the top 50 protocols lost 5.5 billion. 1 billion more than 2022, 2021. Most hacked chains, ETH and Solana. So I need you to put that into perspective. Of course, exploited smart contract is literally the main vulnerability, and that is 40% of the time. So that happens 40% of the time. Targeted and audited smart contract is 34% of really how these incidents happen. And this is exactly what happens. So number of attacks per year, you could see massively 2021, 28, 2022, 16. And then, of course, that data does go back and reflect recent years as well. But they have gradually increased year on year. Okay. A lot of protocols are literally, again, you've got to take this opportunity to even work on your wallets and to start to lift authorization of many sites you visit. Guys, this can happen to us in our own wallets, especially if you're using a hot wallet. That's why you should be using a cold storage all the time, and you should be incredibly careful. But like I said, the most hacked chains, of course, because of their longevity and because of the sheer number of projects on it, are ETH and Solana. I would say something, especially how Sui is from here. At the moment, I'm not touching anything. And probably the best place to stay safe right now are on those exchanges. But check this out. This is why I'm so bullish. I mean, I love the technology. I think Sui will do very well. Listen to this.
You tweet for Sui. I love Sol, but Sui is my favorite child, if I need to have a favorite. Other than Sui to Sol chart, what's new in the Sui ecosystem, because you're pretty close to it?
It's really interesting because when you talk to, here in the Middle East right now, you talk to people, they know Sui. Because it's Facebook. You speak to people and everybody says, yeah, they're really interesting. You see, I mean, without giving away stuff from the foundation, you just know the quality of the people. I mean, you've interviewed Adani.
I went to the Sui office in March to interview Evan, and some energy was insane. It was like a party in this office. You could feel, and they were saying, oh, look, this is the same office as we had in Facebook.
You feel that. You feel throughout. You see the type of projects they're going for. It's interesting because I get called into a few meetings with some people that they're talking to, and like Christian, who's the head of the foundation, his opening question now to projects that want to work with Sui is like, well, show me the path to 1 billion users, because it's built for that scale. And if you're leading with questions like that, is like, yeah, okay, it's interesting you building this, whatever, but is this going to bring me 1 billion users? If it's not of high priority. And so their mindset is really big, and they back it up by, all of the projects that they've been launching. I've been privileged to be on the foundation to see the inner workings of an amazing group of people and see how they all come together. They're basically all ex-Facebook and Google, and they're very smart. They understand scale. They understand how to solve really difficult things. Walrus, stuff like that. It's super interesting. And so I think the market's picking up that narrative. Now, it's very early stage. It's going to have to go through a bear market. You need to see how well does the team manage a bear market. Do they have cash? Are they investing? Are they building? Which is what Solana did really well last cycle. Tolly did a magnificent job of doing that under extreme pressure. That's when Lindy effects kick in. Tolly earns his stripes from that. So it's still early. It's got all of the hallmarks of a massively growing ecosystem, massive growing number of users, massive growing number of applications. Have they had the big breakout application yet? No, but there will be one this cycle. And that'll be the first start of the bigger narrative.
Absolutely. I totally agree with Raoul Pal. Will this impact CETUS's future? Absolutely not. Will this change my view of Sui being the best blockchain in the world. Despite this setback, I don't think so. I think like he said over there, onboarding 1 billion people is the mission over here. Think of this as an Apple or a Facebook, and that's literally what the mission is. Now, like he said as well, there is other, there are other points of view over there. Solana had outages. I've just showed you the real stats of how many of these chains, ETH and Solana, based on their longevity. So this is the first real kind of setback for the Sui ecosystem. Sui itself doing pretty well. CETUS, I think it will recover. If we look at this chart on a shorter time frame, you could see that this picture is still developing here. But nevertheless, guys, where there's blood, basically there's opportunity. At the moment, I'm waiting for the team to make further announcements before I take a direction on what to do with CETUS and of course, some of the other more affected projects. But like I said, I'm bullish on Sui, I'm bullish on the ecosystem. And yes, I am still waiting for that extraordinary dApp that builds on Sui that does 100 or 1,000x. We seem to be doing pretty well with the likes of Lofi, which was also impacted. Everything in terms of the liquidity pool was impacted, but that's not really changed my overall perspective because look, this is pure recovery, right? This is what you want. And of course, I believe this is now around that $52, $53 million market cap, but a full recovery for the ecosystem is underway. Wait for the news. And those, of course, hackers that are doing this are no strangers to these types of statistics. Crypto needs to get smarter. And unfortunately, as long as we got smart contracts and exploits, we will always have hacks as part of the system. But what you can do on a personal level is do the best practices. Don't get caught out. And if you're holding Sui, Walrus, Lofi, CETUS today, just sit tight for a minute. Don't overreact. See what happens. You're already seeing clearly that things are coming back. And let's just hope that they recover the rest of the money. But the vast majority, $162 million out of $222 million, which is pittance compared to the hacks that have happened in popular chains, has already been recovered, guys. Let me know your comments. Let me know if you hold any of these projects, and God protect you and bless you. Have a wonderful night.